After a barn burner last week at Twin Ring Motegi, the series moves to the Finger Lakes of Central New York. Top Fuel Racing is on the air live from Watkins Glen International Raceway. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight. Before we get going, would like to remind everybody that BOFA Broadcasting proudly supports pulmonary hypertension awareness. PH is one of the most difficult to diagnose terminal illnesses on the planet due to the fact that it masks itself to so many different terminal illnesses, and doctors are rather reluctant to perform the test for it, which is a lung biopsy. So usually by the time they can put the pieces together, a lung transplant is the only course of action. More information on how you can get more pH aware, we ask that you go to phaware.global. Tonight's music being brought to you by TDA Motorsports. Gary Adams proudly supporting the Disabled American Veterans Association. DAV is an all-volunteer fleet of non-critical medical transport for America's veterans. On more information on how you can get involved, we ask that you go to DAV.org. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight, joined with me by my new partner in crime, Mr. Byron Rodney. Byron, how the hell are you tonight?
I am doing fine. Happy to be here. Hope I do a good job for y'all. If I miss a camera angle or two, don't, send a mail to Tony, not me.
True story. But, so, hell of a race that we saw last week at Twin Ring Motegi. And, now we move to the, place that has been jokingly referred to as the track where people want a little Armco with their racing. My home track, Watkins Glen, in lovely picturesque Central New York. But I'm looking at some of the lap times these guys are putting up, and it's just insane. Some of the times that we're seeing. These guys are running the full course with the bus stop and the boot. So it's definitely it's impressive some of the times that we're seeing put up right now. So as I look through the past visits that we've seen here, our Gazintas, none of our past winners are in tonight's event. The first time the league came here, it was Tommy Lee won from the pole. Second time, Ray Kingsley won from the pole. And the last time we were here, Mr. Chase Hudson took home the victory. Chase not in the field tonight, though. Qualifying currently underway here, as Ronnie Osmer currently setting quick time. They won 27.663. Nate Siefker, no real shocker there. The road course ringer himself sitting second quick. And Mr. Thursday Night, Mr. Keith Mayato, currently sitting third quick. So that's quite impressive. And a guy that I know has been grinding the laps this past week in practice for tonight's event, Tyler Vickery, currently sitting fourth quick. These guys are just impressing the hell out of me tonight, Byron.
Yeah, they laying down some laps in here, and a lot of these names I'm familiar with. Is we've been racing with them in a different league. We've been racing with them on official servers, and I have to hand it to Ronnie. I have to hand it to Nate and Tyler. They taught me a bit about road course racing that I didn't know. I'm usually racing something that's a lot heavier, it's got a roof on it. And these guys with the four wheels, the open wheels, and no lid on the top of them, they just amaze me.
Oh, absolutely. Now, if you really want to be impressed, you need to be back with us on Sunday night as Top Fuel Racing will be going to Michigan for the... I get the name of this right. I want to make sure I get this right, folks, so bear with me one second here. The Penny Dudley ALS Race for a Cure 250. That's this coming Sunday. All proceeds from entries for this race, and now mind you, it is a pay-in race, and we're asking drivers to it's a $10 entry fee. 100% of all monies collected will go to ALS research.
And
I cannot stress that enough.
That is the key thing. So many charities take in so much that very little of actually gets where it needs to go. This is actually making it where it counts.
Absolutely. 100%. Every dime collected for this race will be donated to ALS research. And we will be broadcasting it here on Bofa Broadcasting this coming Sunday. Again, now we're talking, 250 miles at Michigan, the house that Penske built. So, definitely going to be a good race. Going to be a lot of strong names in the field already, but it is a short field currently. So we're looking for a goal of at least $500. We're halfway there.
As I'm looking through some of the names going by on the ticker up here, I'm recognizing quite a few of them that I've run with. Ronnie, Nate, and this was just one character, the 101 car, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. First time I'm going to get to watch him race.
True story, and Sam running a new paint scheme tonight, debuting that's a wild looking scheme that Sam's got, and there again, I mentioned it earlier. There's been a lot of guys putting in a lot of laps this week, and Sam's been one of them. Anytime that he hasn't had to broadcast since the last time that we were here with Top Fuel at Twin Ring Motegi last Wednesday, Sam has been at the Glen cranking laps.
Yes, that's what I understand. Kind of, if he isn't here at the Glen cranking laps, he's been out there on the spa track with us cranking laps.
Well, Sam's got some experience here. He ran the 6 hours of the Glen with us last season. Ronnie Osborne and I, along with Tyler Vickery, ran that race as well. So, there's some guys that do have some seat time here. But 5 minutes left in qualifying as Scotty Brinson goes on a wild ride going through the bus stop. But definitely something to keep an eye on.
I see guys keep working that qualifying lap, working those angles just really as best as they can, and the speeds these cars lay down on this track is just amazing me.
Oh, absolutely. And Byron, I know you don't have a lot of seat time in the Indy cars, but it kind of harkens back to the movie Days of Thunder, when they were sitting in the stands trying to get Cole up to speed. You know, we were racing Indy cars out west. The cars weighed half as much, and the tires were twice as wide. You really feel it with the DW12 that we're running here tonight, and just the downforce that these cars generate. It's just insane. Like the first time you jump behind the wheel, you feel like Superman.
Yeah, I've felt that, coming off of fresh tires on a super speedway in the NASCAR series. I know what it feels like to feel like Superman. These sticking the road as well as they do is just amazing to me.
And that's the one thing that a lot of drivers have an issue with, coming from stock cars going into the open wheel side of iRacing, is you find yourself underdriving the hell out of the car.
Yeah, I see that. But you could pretty much throw a blanket ding near over the top 5 in qualifying. We're looking at the top 5 in qualifying less than a second apart from each other on lap time.
Actually, top 6. I'm looking right. From Ronnie Osmond to Scotty Brinson, it's exactly 1 second.
Yeah, 1 second is in this track. This speed is just basically a tap of the brake, a miss of the approach on turn in or turn out. It's so much goes into it.
Absolutely, and a couple guys to keep an eye on tonight. Ronnie Osmer, who I personally watched make up a 45-second deficit the last time I saw him race at the Glen. Made up 45 seconds in the 6 hours of the Glen to put the car from 4th place onto the podium. Nate Siefker is always a threat when we're on a road course, and you can't count out the Canadian crusher, Keith Mayato.
Yeah, the two of those three right there, I race with a lot. I call them my resident aliens. That they've taught me a lot, because coming up for the 24 Hours of Spa next month, I've actually been invited to actually run that race. I'm going to run it. They're going to be teammates of mine, and as in practice, Ronnie was so nice. He jumped in and watched from cockpit view and coached me through the corners, and got my road racing game a little tighter.
Now, just out of curiosity, which one of the 3 cars are you going to be in? The Silver Bullet, the Purple People Leader, or the Magnum PI Special?
I will be in the Purple People Leader along with Kevin.
Then you and I are going to be teammates in that race, my friend.
Well, then we will be in it. I can be looking forward to it.
Yeah, hell, I've been at a Road B license for too long. I can drop down to a C again.
I had my Road A license, and it just degraded to a B when week 13 ended. I'll get it back up there to an A, but because I love going out and racing the little skippies and have a lot of fun with those guys.
I will warn you ahead of time, when we do go to Spa, Eau Rouge in traffic can be a nightmare.
I have already experienced that. We've been lately we've been getting into server, just getting in each other's way on purpose so we can experience it.
Now, the one thing I do need to point out, and real quick, is thoughts and prayers going out to the family of John Napier. John's dad is right now, and John, of course, isn't. But our thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Napier family.
Yes.
And
totally
at this time, we ask that everyone please rise. Gentlemen, if you could please raise your hats, as a good friend of both broadcasting, Mr. Cherry Adams, brings us the American National Anthem.
I don't know why, but I get chills up and down my spine every time I hear that.
Probably my favorite rendition ever of the Star Spangled Banner. Again, we cannot thank Mr. Terry Adams enough for that. And unfortunately, I believe it's my mic that you're probably hearing doing funny things, Tyler. I'm not sure what's going on. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. We're trying to work on that. Like I said, unfortunately, it is what it is tonight.
It could be coming from my end. I dug up a lot of old gear to not have to wear an Oculus strapped to my head for a microphone.
All right, so just a couple seconds left here in qualifying. Let's run through the grid, because I believe it's going to be a really quick start here tonight.
Well, looks like coming off of qualifying, we're going to have Ronnie Osmer taking the pole position. Starting right next to him being Nate Safker.
No, go ahead and bring the grid up for me, bud, at the bottom of the screen.
It was there.
Okay. Behind.
Just a tad behind. Sorry about that. Coming up in position number 3, Keith Mayato. Good qualifying run, along with Tyler Lugo Vickery, sitting right next to him at row 4. Position number 5, I'm sorry, Kevin O'Brien.
Row 3.
Row 3, Kevin O'Brien. Scott Brinson, he's coming in position number 6.
Row number 8 is going to go to Mr. Brad Truex and the captain, Will Kirk. Row 5 is going to see Rick Ravon and Justin Chapman. Row number 6 is going to see Carl Burke and Paul Crumry. Our good friend Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett and Mike Lawler are going to make up row number 7.
Row number 8 is going to be position number 15, starting P15, James McDavid. Doug Kennedy, he's going to start this race P16. P17, in the next row, Robert Dudley and Mark Robertson, starting outside and position number 18. 19 coming at you, Jason McFarren. Sorry if I get that name wrong. Bad with names, guys. Don't, like I said before, send a hand mail.
Welcome to the club.
Galen Kidman's going to take position number 20 on the track. Tony Rice, a very familiar name.
There's
very familiar name. And Chris Boyle's in position number 22.
Okay, so Gidman's not in the session, so Rice is going to roll off 20. 21 is going to go to Chris Voiles. Burkhart out, and Morganti is... Carl Burke's not here either, by the way. So Joe Morganti is going to be starting shotgun on the field.
And as they roll off, let's get a good look at the field.
Beautifully painted cars here tonight. And I would like to point out that the entire front row was painted by our very own Sam Cooper Bennett. So, field working its way up through the S's right now. And if you've never had the experience to drive IndyCar up through the S's, from the time you exit turn 1 to the time you go into the bus stop, you're flat foot completely to the floor, and you're just grabbing gears. You're coming up through the S's, starting at the base in 4th gear, you're grabbing 5th towards the top, and then by the time you get to about midway down the back straightaway, just before the braking zone, you may want to grab 6th, maybe not, depending on how you've got the car set up. And then you're hard on the binders, real late braking going into the bus stop. And definitely not a place where you want to go too wide.
No, it's not. The bus stop is a place you want to pick a line. You need to hold that line if you want to hold your speed. And the corner exit on the bus stop is so important as to how much speed you're going to carry down around the carousel.
And when you come through there, now mind you, these guys are running the full course tonight, so if you'll notice, instead of continuing through the carousel, they're coming through that little short chute. That is the laces of the boot. So into the instep right now, which it's deceiving because it's so much off camber going through where they're pacing through right now. And then you're uphill. It starts with camber and then goes off camber as you start to crest towards the top. As we get into the toe of the boot here, it's camber as you start, and then the camber falls off. And right where they are now, the car gets real light, and it's real easy to lose it as you crest that little hill that they're going over right this second. And then you come down into the heel of the boot. Another real hard braking zone, real good place to pass, as we've found out in the past here. You can pick up a couple of spots because the turn does have camber. You can carry some speed through here, but coming up through the bootstrap here, really need to be careful because this is another off camber. Real easy to coming out of here, getting the power down too much, especially on cold tires. So the first lap is going to be a little bit sketchy, and then coming into turn 10, the only real true left-hander on the track. And then into the final turn, as the pace car gets ready to duck on off, Osmer going to have control of the field. Pace car makes that hard right turn onto pit road, and we are live from Watkins Glen.
Going green, folks, going green. 45 laps at the Glen. Good luck, everybody. Coming into turn 1, looks like Ronnie Osmer is going to come in underneath and take the lead on this thing and just set sails through the S's.
For some reason, I have no in-game volume. Cool. Eefker all over him, though. A little bit of a glitch, connection issue. I've lost Seifker.
I've lost him myself. I don't see him on the timing screen anymore.
Oh, that's not good.
Not good at all.
I just checked his quality. We're probably going to lose. Nate here in a couple of seconds.
According to mine, we've lost him.
All right. So Osmer in control of the field. I will be right back as I need to relog into iRacing so I have sound again.
Okay, you do that because my sound is gone, and I hope you can carry the sound.
Oh, great. Well then.
Yep, I checked all my settings. I am where I need to be. I have no sound coming off of iRacing whatsoever.
Great. So it's not just me.
Well, if we're going to have technical difficulties, it's fun to have a buddy, don't you think?
Absolutely.
But getting back to the racing, I'm just watching. Oh, and we see, looked like Rick Raven just went right around behind Ronnie Osborne in the on-off runoff section. Spun it, just got a little loose off the tail.
That's not good.
No, and I believe that was actually Robert Dudley. He was running second place where I saw that.
Yeah, Osmer's leading right now, so.
Yeah, Osmer set sail. He's got quite the lead on the field at the moment. But not having the open wheel experience on this track.
As Vickery loses it going through one, I see.
Yeah, and he just kind of had to make a little stop and go there.
I'm not live. Love.
You got held up, huh?
I'm still trying to get back in the session.
I'm sorry about that. Well, to let you know what's happening on the track, Ronnie Osborne's got him covered. He's got himself, looks to be a good 2-second lead on the field now, and just growing. Rick Raven, he's running second place, coming up, trying to catch up to Osborne, but he's not running as clean a line as Ronnie is. Not as quite as what we call pretty on the wheel. Captain Will Kirk, he's running that third position, staying up after it, doing the best he can. Everyone's singled out and is just kind of settling into the run now.
Okay.
As I take a look through some other familiar names in here, Tony Rice holding down the 13th position. Not really under any challenge for anything. Just
like the closest battle right now is Scotty Brinson and Justin Chapman. That's your battle for fourth, as Chapman all over the transmission tunnel of Brinson as they go through the carousel.
Yeah, and it looks like Chapman took it just a little wide, and Scotty Brinson running just a little cleaner line around the corners.
And that's the one thing you're going to find with Brinson is he's almost robotic in the fact that he hit the same line just about every lap.
Yeah, and that gets with me, when I'm out there racing, I get somebody on behind me, and it's very tough to hold that same line, hold my line. I start feeling the pressure, and I start making mistakes, and there's a passing zone. But, yeah, he is just holding it perfect, and he's going to make whoever is going to come around him, they're going to earn that position.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why he is the points leader, and I believe by starting tonight, I don't quote me on this, but I believe he clinched the championship just by taking the green flag tonight.
Well, I'll be darned. Yeah, that's something. Me joining this league as a broadcast partner with you, I'm going to be diving into the history of the league and the points a little more as I can. It was a tough thing this week, being really busy and then a kind of injury with the dog this morning, but we'll make better of it.
Ah, yes. Did mention that earlier. A little bit back in the field, Sam Cooper Bennett has gotten by Joe Morganti. Happened to go. Let me go take a look there.
I don't see Joe.
Joe looped it, the 53. He looped it coming out of the boot section, put the power down a little too much. Cold tires, well, not necessarily cold tires this late, but off camber, real easy to lose it.
Off into the pits.
Backs it into the tire wall. Looks like he might be burning his fast repair early. One fast repair allowed in this league as Sparrow, Kennedy, Vickery, Siefker, and Robertson already laps down. Looks like Siefker is no longer in the session. Robertson not in the session.
Tyler Lugo Vickery's out of the session.
And Vickery is gone as well. Siefker just got back in.
I don't see him in here.
Just reconnected.
Taking a look back up at Ronnie Osmer, I don't even know why I even bothered to try and track this alien, because I know he's going to be out in front leading the whole pack. And according to my screen,
5 seconds to the good.
5 to the good.
The closest battle on track right now is between Rick Raven and Will Kirk. They're coming out of the boot right now and making their way down the short chute into turn 10.
God, I love the pretty lines these cars just run right around this track. They stick right to that rubbered-in section of track and hold it.
As long as you respect the car will do what you need it to. But it's very easy to get a little throttle happy, shall we say?
Racing a Gen 6 car in NASCAR, I understand what throttle happy is all about, especially at Sonoma.
And Kirk has gotten by Raven. So, got a new second place, and is that Osmer directly in front? Yes, it is. They have caught Rosmer. What the hell happened to Ronnie?
Well, this might just start to be a little bit of a battle coming up here. Maybe Ronnie was taking it easy. Maybe trying to...
No, he lost it going into the heel of the boot.
I'm sorry.
He overcooked it and spun it coming into the heel of the boot. and that allowed Kirk and Raven to reel him in.
But if I'm reading this timing right, he's starting to, gap him again. He's out to another second lead already.
Well, yeah. And Ronnie's already said as far as road courses go, he just loves this layout. And this is the layout that we ran last year in the 6-hour, and Ronnie just was setting just ridiculous time.
Well, I've known Ronnie Osborne for a while, and it doesn't matter what he's behind the wheel in. I'm going to put my money on him. Put him on bad tires, damaged car, doesn't matter. He's still going to put a gap on the field and give you hell.
Sorry. But Kirk hanging with him, keeping him honest right now anyways.
Kirk's staying within that 1 second reach. He's gapped it out to about 1.1, but he reels him in on the corners, and I don't know. Ronnie's kind of cooked his tires maybe a little, and he's just cruising. That's the only reason they're keeping him within striking distance.
As they come up on a damaged car, not really sure who that is off pace so much.
That will be Jason McSparron in the number 61. Might have caught some damage when he got off the course there for a little bit, but he is definitely off pace looking for pit road. Well, maybe not. Taking a look at P10, our friend Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett just rolling right along. As the field seems to be getting stretched out fairly long.
Oh! And slight mistake by Sam and a slight mistake by Kevin O'Brien as well.
Yeah, right behind him, looped it around, talking about throttle happy.
Real easy to do coming through there. With the fact that you've been running a lot of stock car stuff, you've not had the pleasure, shall we say, to run that boot section of the track that often, and it's very, very easy in any car to
I've been around I've been around the boot in the Ferrari when we've raced SCCA around here, and yeah, there's one turn on there. If you don't slow down enough, you're going way off course and coming right around.
And that's coming out of the boot, and it's off camber, and you're cresting a hill at the same time. So it's always something to be mindful of right there. But looking back through the field, they're starting to get strung out. And let me just check my facts here. Bear with me one. For the fuel bill tonight. 17 gallons, so we're looking at least one pit stop. Possibly two. Quote me on two.
Well,
they're probably going to need two for tires.
Yeah, I was going to ask the tire wear situation at the Glen for these cars. I don't have any experience with, but judging by the lap times, I can see that some of them have a little bit of fall off going on, and I've noticed that our resident alien, Mr. 55, Ronnie Osmer, has put a 4.5 second gap back onto the field.
Story. As really, the closest battle right now is the battle for 10th between Tony Rice and Kevin O'Brien, and Rice is starting to field in by our Aussie friend in the 184.
Yeah, Tony, I've raced with plenty of times with the stock cars. He's invited me here to this league many, many times. I just haven't been, I wanted to come practice with him, but I don't want to come and race with him because I don't want to be the one responsible for ruining somebody's race until I get up to speed and competitive in open wheel.
Fair enough. And I can respect that as O'Brien has caught Rice.
We've got a battle on for P10.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for what you're hearing in the background, but my knee brace is killing.
Well, we understand go ahead and make yourself comfortable. Knee brace, non-knee brace. Get the foot up on a stool. Get the leg up, elevated. Cold brew and a pain pill. There you go. This battle for 10th is heating up here as Tony's overdriven a couple of the corners, and it looks like he's about to be overtaken on the front stretch heading into turn number 1.
This is going to be fun. Can O'Brien make it stick? Rice has the preferred line and just lets him go way too early. Tony knows that, it's way too early to try to be defending hard against that move.
Sometimes Tony can get a little rattled and overdrive a couple of corners. I watched him overdrive the left-hander just a tad, and that let Kevin just get right up to him. And yeah, Tony being the better decision to back it off, let him have the position, and live to race another day.
Absolutely. They're working their way through some lap traffic right there. I believe that
that lap traffic, if I can get a beat on that car, Doug Kennedy. He is running a couple laps off.
Laps off as Sam Cooper Bennett flashes by him.
Yeah, he's been hovering right about that 16, 17 position. He hasn't been up in there, and he is showing to be 1 lap down from the leader.
Osmer continuing to show the way.
Yeah, he's continuing to just completely cap the field. He's up to 9 seconds in the good now. He can put it in cruise control and relax. It's pretty much
Justin Chapman and Scotty Brinson have caught Rick Raven. So the battle for second is now starting to heat up.
You can throw a blanket over all of them going into the left-hander here.
They kind of tiptoe coming out of the boot into the left-hander that you might recognize from the NASCAR layout, and then into the final corner. Gets a good run coming off the corner. Chapman within drafting distance, but got to be mindful going into that turn 1.
Turn 1 will fool you. Turn 1 can fool you big time because that is such a downhill run. You don't realize you're carrying the speed that you're carrying to get to it.
Absolutely. And with these cars able to brake so much later than you can in just about any other car sim, probably the only two that come to mind that you can brake later with are the 2 Formula 1 cars, the modern era Formula 1 cars. It's very easy to get it all wrong very quick.
To take the high sky view of these guys, you can watch them. You can see the lines that these cars run through here, and you can see the speed that they're carrying through, and very careful to tiptoe around them. And you can see how when one car overdrives it, the other car can just pull away a little further.
These guys they're racing hard, but they're racing clean right now for second, third, and fourth. All of them know that there's still a ton of time left in this event.
34 laps of racing to go.
Absolutely. And Osmer has just flat checked out, so they basically know that he's got to step on his own junk for them to have a shot at the win right now. Or get caught up in a dumpster fire caused by a lap car.
Yeah, well, I understand what it's like to step on my own junk. I've been way out front before, and someone's told me, hey, that's your race to lose. Well, yep, it was, and I did, and I know how it goes. So Ronnie, even though he's out in front and cruising very far ahead, he's still got a lot of race to go to be mistake-free in.
Right, and we've already seen him have an oops already, and maybe that that might have woke the youngster up. And if Ronnie Osmer gets woken up, let's say, good luck.
Yeah, Ronnie Osmer, he's out front, just pulling. He's coming up to going to be working some lap traffic here shortly, but he's just running his line, got it in cruise control, and like you said, it's got to be mistake free, or he's going to have a hungry wolf pack on his heels.
Story.
Yeah, as the lap car just moves over and let him take it, let him have his line, which is good. Good thing to do in racing. A lot of guys don't do that, and you got some problems.
Very much so. Very much so. As Scotty Brinson has gotten by Chapman.
And he's starting to put a little bit of a gap on him. We'll see if he's got anything for Rick Raven to be able to run him down.
And still a lot of racing left in this one. And again, would like to point out that we will be having a special event on Sunday. We'll be going to Michigan for that one. I am talking about the Penny Dudley ALS Race for a Cure 250. The goal is to raise a minimum of $500, which there's a $10 entry fee, which can be made via PayPal. All monies collected in entry fee and any donations anyone wants to make, 100% of it will be going to ALS.org. I'm sorry, it's Webel, W-E-B-A-L .als.org, to help fight ALS through global research. Now, reason why it's being called what it is, our good friend Mr. Robert Dudley, unfortunately, with her battle for ALS past December, and the idea to host this event, I just, anytime a league is looking at this, have my attention, you have my respect. And I know that there are a lot of racers that do watch some of these broadcasts. We're looking for drivers, folks. We're drivers. We're currently, as far as donations go, we're currently halfway there. We're still short on entries. Last check, I believe we were up to 10, last I heard. So still a very, very short field coming into this Sunday's event. Plenty of time to get your name in the hat to be able to race. We will be taking the IR-18, brand new IndyCar to iRacing, to the house that Penske built at Michigan International, which will be there twice this week as the series goes there with DW12s next Wednesday. So something to be mindful of.
Not to interrupt you there, but I was watching Justin Chapman as he was coming around turn one. He went wide and got it off course a little bit, went bouncing. And he's giving up some time to Rick Raven now, and he's got Scott Brinson just breathing all over the gearbox.
Well, Brinson's no slouch, and I'm sure he saw what happened, and he's kind of got the bit between his teeth right now. But knows that there's still a ton of racing left, as we're only working lap 15 of 45, so 1/3 of the way into this event.
Yeah, taking a ride along with Scotty Brinson, giving you an idea of what it's like to get around the Glen, especially when you're trying to overtake a very fast racer right in front of you.
And if you take a look at just how smooth Brinson is on the wheel, that's the reason why I believe just by taking the green tonight, Scotty clinched the championship this season, which did find out last week. Last season's champion, Michael Jean, will be rejoining the league full-time as Chapman peels off to take a pit stop.
Into the pits.
Looks like he's not happy with the tires right now, so he's going to go get for Mr. Feelgoods and fill it up with some Sunoco ethanol.
He's going to give up some good track position on that, but then again, he is about at the third of the way through the race. So it could be a two-lap or two-pit stop strategy for him.
Could be, as relegate him looks like fifth.
Very quick pit stop, and I see his Captain Will Kirk is also in the pits.
As is Brad Truex.
It amazes me how quick they can get 4 tires and a tank of fuel on these things.
Well, when you don't have to have one guy jacking both sides of the car up with a manual jack and you just shove an air hose on the side of the car, yeah.
I'd say that Captain Will Kirk's getting some optional damage repaired. 24-second pit stop versus Brad's 9-second pit stop.
Safe bet. Very safe bet. You know, you're right around a 6-second stop is where you're probably going to be. Get a full boat of fuel and 4 brand new Firestone Firehawks. Meanwhile,
Ronnie Osmer,
back at the ranch,
coming up into his pit stop, coming into the pits with a 21-second lead on the field. Let's see where he cycles back out.
I'll give you 2 guesses.
Probably right back out in front, and he's going to be coming out probably close in front with Scott on his tail.
Well, no, because Scott's in the pits now, too.
Oh, he is. Well, it looks like everyone's going to be running maybe a 2-pit stop strategy on this race.
Absolutely. As my auto just moved into second.
My auto up into second, but has he seen the pit stop yet?
It's not.
My auto's up in second. He has not seen the pits yet, and he's still 10 seconds behind our leader.
Question is, because my auto, you know, he's a cerebral driver. I'm thinking he figured something out as far as pace, where he can make it on one stop. I'm thinking there's a good possibility. Let's take a look and see how long Keith stays out. You know, if he gets past lap, anything past lap 23, and he can make it from there. So, Osmer just checked out, flat checked out.
Yeah, well, you were talking about the story where Osmer put on the 45 seconds in the last stint of that 6-hour race. I'm watching him get ready to put 45 seconds in just a third of a stint of this race.
Well, no, you misunderstood the story. When I turned the car over to him to start his last stint, there was 45 minutes left in the event.
And in 45 minutes, he put...
We were 50 seconds back.
Ooh, and you won the race.
No, we didn't win. We were 50 seconds back off of third. In 45 minutes, stayed up not only 50 seconds, but ended up 8 seconds to the good over third place. Both teams were 2 laps down to the 2 lead cars.
Well, if I can maybe give you a little suggestion for the next time, turn the car over to Ronnie earlier.
Had to pee. And I already did turn it over to him as a shortstop.
Yeah, anyone to have Ronnie on their team is a blessed individual, let me tell you. Plus, he's a great coach. He's helped me, like I said, bring my road course game up a bit, quite a bit more.
Well, you know, you're talking about a guy that does have real-life ARCA experience as well.
Yeah, I've had that conversation with him as to how much of that real-life experience translates over to iRacing. And I was surprised at what does and what doesn't, but it mostly does.
The biggest thing is when you're going to a track that you've not been to real life as a driver, you know, learning where the corners are, kind of getting especially with iRacing laser scanning all the tracks that they scan, your braking points, if you're a landmark driver like I am, okay, I need to be braking by the Toyota silo. I need to be on the brakes by there.
I totally understand that. I've actually driven Sonoma, when we used to call it Sears Point. Before they took the bridges out, that bridge was my braking point for turn 10.
Understandable.
In fact, I remember seeing an interview with Tony Stewart. He's the first time he went there after they took that bridge out. He comes smoking around that track so fast, and he used the bridge as his braking point, and the bridge wasn't there, and he never hit the brakes.
Oops.
Yeah, backup car came out for that one.
I remember watching that one on TV.
You know, we were talking about second place Keith Maiato. He seems to be running down Ronnie Osborne. There's only a 7-second gap, so he is closing that. And if I'm reading my timing screen right, both Ronnie and Keith have seen the pits once already.
Well then.
And further reading of said timing screen shows me Ronnie had a 10-second pit stop. Keith got out with a 6.6. Just ripped off a good one. And as far as I'm reading the scoring, yeah, he's closing down that gap. It was at 10 seconds when we were first visiting it. He's down to 7.5 now.
Well, you know, like I said, Keith has really taken to the Indy cars. We first saw Keith here on Beaufort Broadcasting when we started doing Tomo League. Keith, one of the winningest drivers over in that league in their stock car stuff, came over here a few weeks back and has just impressed every week, and has improved every week as well. Still looking for that breakthrough win, but definitely is. It's when a driver has talent, and Maiato, very talented driver. Ronnie Osmer, very, very talented driver. You know, and they show this no matter what league they show up in. Know that unless they get caught up in a dumpster fire, they're gonna be competing for, a podium.
Exactly. Kind of give you an idea of what 7 seconds looks like on this course. Let's take a look at Ronnie Osmer as he runs out 7.3 seconds ahead of our second place right there. 7 seconds, it sounds a lot, but when you get moving tracks at this speed,
it's the length of the backstretch.
Yep.
So the exit of the S's to the entrance of the bus stop, that's the lead that Ronnie Osmer has right now.
Yes, he does. There he is. Ronnie Osmer running up here. Our second place just coming around the carousel now.
Live, bud. It's Keith is just going into the toe of the boot. Ronnie is just going into the boot.
I have Ronnie going by lap traffic, coming around the corner.
Ronnie exiting the boot and
coming to the left-hander. As he completes a lap around Watkins Glen, takes this right-hand turn and just opens it up on the front stretch.
And Maiato going pit side.
Keith Maiato bringing it in for pit stop number 2. See how long this takes him. He ripped off a 6.6 second stop, the last pit stop that he had. Be interested to see what he's going to do with this one. 24 laps to go in the race. Can he make it on fuel?
Fuel possibly, tires doubtful. As Rick Raven's going to inherit second place.
Another great stop, 9.4 seconds.
So a little bit of damage on the 19 that time. So Maiato back to third, Raven up into second, Question is, can Keith reel in Rick? Yeah.
Rick hasn't seen the pit stop yet for his second one. Neither has Ronnie Osmer. So there's going to be a huge gap between first, second, and third. Well, not so much a gap between second and third. My auto came out 3 seconds behind him. I'm taking a look through the timing screen. I'm seeing pretty much everyone's just stretched out across this road course.
That's if you take a look, they've already lapped all the way up to Kevin O'Brien is the last car on the lead lap.
And look who's right behind him right there.
So 7th place, about to go a lap down. Let that sink in for a moment, folks. We're only 22 laps into this event. Well, and Kevin O'Brien is no slouch. Mike Lawler, no slouch. Paul Cromery, no slouch. Will Kirk, no slouch. Joe Morganti, no slouch. Doug Kennedy, James McDavid, Jason McSparron, Nate Siefker had connection issues, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was sad to see him go because Ronnie and Nate has raced Ronnie very hard in some practices I've been at and some other events that I've watched. Those two, it's fun to listen to them on a chat channel back and forth as they're running right nose to tail.
Well, they're teammates, and you know they're both young gunners, and they both. I would call them cocky, but it's not bragging if you can back it up, shall we say?
And that's totally true. Those two can back it up. Like I said, I call them the resident aliens in my league.
Not wrong.
But I see Ronnie has gotten around Kevin O'Brien, and he's going to be setting his sights up here on Justin Chapman as the next car in Ronnie's radar. And I was going to take a page out of your book and turn that into a drinking game, but you know what? We'd all be falling over, passed out, just by taking a shot every time Ronnie passed a car.
Think? Meanwhile, Keith Mayato has already nipped 1 full second out of the lead that Rick Raven had on him for that second place battle.
Yeah, and Rick has yet to see pit stops for his second time, as Keith has already been in on a second pit stop. But Keith made that pit stop so early, I have questions about whether he's going to make it on fuel or not.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough, especially with the pace that these guys are setting right now. I'm thinking we have not seen the money stop from anyone. So something to be mindful of.
Yeah, as we watch my auto work lap traffic there getting around, he's still taking a bite into that gap he's got between him and second place.
And Kevin O'Brien just got back by Ronnie Osmer. What?
Watch this. Maybe Ronnie had a little bobble, and it looks like Ronnie's going right back around him again.
Yeah, coming out of the boot section, Ronnie got a little trigger happy, caught a little too much curbing, got the car sideways, was able to keep it straight, didn't really lock him down, but Indy cars are not meant to drift.
Spins it and noses it into the wall going up the hill.
Oh.
I do believe we're going to be seeing the 55 make a pit stop.
Safe bet.
As he does come around, see about getting to that pit stop. coming to what we call the true left-hander of the course. Come around, make that right-hander, and there's the entrance to pit road. See if he takes it.
Nope.
Surprisingly, he does not. And I don't think he feels he has to with a 22-second lead on the field.
Well, he's got a little bit of wing damage, but with the pace that he's keeping, I wouldn't pit unless I had to at this point.
Now I believe he's on a two-stop strategy. It looks like he's going to stick to it. If he sticks to that two-stop strategy, I'd look to see him in about 4 or 5 laps from now.
Sorry. Just lost 10 seconds because of that bobble to Raven and my auto.
And he's still got such a gap on it. I just amazed watching this guy run. Checking out Raven running laps around Watkins Glen. He does run a very clean line. Does run, keeps that car from dancing out from under him as he just lays the power down coming out of a corner.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the way you can tell guys that have a lot of road course experience is they're not going to be throwing the car around. They're really smooth on their inputs, and they almost, if you just watch their hands, you don't think that they're actually going as fast as they are because they're so smooth on the input.
Yeah, they do run it smooth. And I remember someone by the name of Tony there helping me out with working a truck around these road courses, building a setup for a different league. And that helped me off a lot, too, because I was trying to throw that thing around. And you can't do that with anything on this course.
No, you can't. With this, especially with this track, because it's such a momentum-based road course, you really need to carry as much speed as you can. You need to back your corners up a little bit, let off a little bit early, don't use quite as much brake, and let the car run. And being as you get an advantage usually from not using a lot of brake here, letting the engines kind of slow the car down more than brake pedal to do so. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens when the real life sports cars, the IMSA sports cars, come here for the sale in 6 hours of the Glen. Tickets still available, by the way, at watkinsglen.com. But going to be real interesting to see what happens in LMP1 with the the hybrids. How are they going to recharge their stuff when you're on the button so long here at the Glen?
Watching those hybrids run is I actually watched the Formula electric battery powered cars run, and that was amazing to me to just listen to it, let alone see it.
Well, the only sound you really hear from those cars are the straight cut gears in the gearbox.
Exactly, and don't know if there was a bobble there somewhere or not, but Mr. 22nd ahead of the field is now chopped down to 11.7. I'd be looking for Mr. Osborne to be hitting pit road anytime soon now.
Just the the damage on that car. He got a ton of wing damage, and I dare say that's what's costing him all the speed. The fact that front end doesn't have the grip that it should.
Losing all the downforce on the front, he's basically not able to hold the corner down. I can understand that. Car's going to push around that corner like a school bus. As I got my eyes on Rick Ramon, he's just chomping that lead down. He's down to It's down to 9.3 seconds now. They are reeling the race leader Ronnie Osmer in, but I'm knowing Ronnie like I do, I'm assuming he's got a fast repair saved in his back pocket ready to rock.
Safe bet.
Because the races I've run with him, he pit farms the heck out of that darn car. As I checked the race, six cars on the lead lap. Ronnie's lapped all the way up to the back of P6.
And take a look at who is the first car a lap down. So if we do end up with a full course caution,
do they run the lucky dog in this series? Oh,
they do.
Then he will get his lap back and be back on the lead lap with a good shot at going at it. I love the paint job on his car.
And of course, we are talking about my normal broadcast partner when he's not behind the wheel of the 101, both broadcasting Lara here tonight, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett.
Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, who I've gotten fortunate enough to get to know along with you guys, and find he's a very interesting individual. That Big Heart was able to help me out, get this thing all set up and lined out, and which you helped finish. And I hope that I get a little better at it.
Well, we all did our first broadcast at one point, and I got to say that you're able to follow suggestions on settings and whatnot better than I was when I first was doing it. I needed more help than you.
Well, all I can say is I try, but I do say for a third screen.
Got a new leader as Osmer has taken it pit side.
Ronnie Osmer into the pits. It's going to be interesting to see if he does have that fast repair up his sleeve, as he's fallen back to the 5th position as everyone's drove on by him. Everyone else has made their second stop except for our leader, Rick Raven, who has yet to make a second stop.
And the thing is, take a look who Ronnie is coming out right behind. That's his teammate, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett.
And as much love as I have for Sam and as much love as I have for Ronnie, to call the race, from an unbiased position, I don't think it's going to take Ronnie long to make that move on poor Sam.
No, he's not. But that being said, he's not going to put either one of them in jeopardy to make the move to get by him. Of course, Ronnie knows that Raven still needs to go pit side one more time. Keith Mayato's going to need to go back one more time. So not a lot of stress right now, shall we say.
Well, with 16 to go, I know Ronnie's seen the pit for the last time. And looking at the lap that he's laying down, it looks like he did have that fast repair up his sleeve.
It's a possibility that he may not have even burned it, because luckily with the wing cars, if you will, the Indy cars, the Formula One cars, I believe the Pro Mazda and the Formula Renault. Last I knew, hit a front wing repair without burning a fast repair.
So just like in the real life pits, it takes them, a half a second to replace the whole front end nose cone on that thing.
Meanwhile, Rick Raven has got Keith Mayato right behind him. Mayato is right there as those two cats go into the toe of the boot, and Mayato is definitely not one that we were talking about Scotty Brinson being almost robotic when it comes to hitting lines. Keith Mayato is the same. So
I was going to say I haven't seen very many mistakes whatsoever out of these gentlemen that are running in the top 5 of this race, other than maybe getting a little rattled in an overdrive of one corner, and that's all it takes for an overtake.
Not wrong. So Raven showing the way. Mayato with the only Ford in the field. Currently sitting in second as they work their way into the S's. Scotty Brinson, your champion-elect, currently sits in third. Brad Truex, fourth. And now, mind you, Raven, Mayato, Brinson, and Truax have not had their money stop yet.
Yeah, I believe you're correct on that, but they took that second stop a lot earlier. Ronnie Osmer waited for that second pit stop, and I'm just in awe of our race leader, Rick Raven. He's only seen the pits one time during this race, and with 14 to go, I'm wondering if he's got the fuel, he's got the, maybe can stretch it out a little bit.
Well, with lap traffic, the way that they just caught those guys, it's going to be interesting to see how this one does play out.
Oh, we do have a bit of a gaggle working out there.
And I believe I saw Tony Rice with a nose cone missing, so something to be mindful of there.
Well, let's see if we can focus in on the 64 of Tony Rice. Good friend of mine. Yes, he is missing the front wings completely. Let's see if he brings that in pit side, if he has a fast repair, or if he's just going to gut it out for the rest of the race. Showing Tony in position number 9.
And Rick Raven just went pit side, and we've got a new leader, Keith Mayato, now to the point.
Keith Mayato to the point. Just running out that, oh my gosh, Rick Raven, he's still showing second place. Scott Brinson is going to pick up second place, but he's going to be a good 16 seconds behind the leader.
Big question is, no, actually, yep, here comes Brinson now. Raven's down off the jacks.
And that's Brinson.
Brinson's in the pits.
I wonder if that was an unplanned pit stop.
Probably not. That's right around money stop time. Question is, Osmer just inherited third. Does he have enough time to reel these guys in and get by them?
Well, the part about that is Osmer was in at, say lap 30 or so. He's got,
on lap 30.
Yeah, on lap 30. Okay, well, he's got 17 lap tires, 17 lap old tires on that car, and he's got a 41-second deficit to make up to the leader, Keith Mayato.
Huh? We're working lap 34 now, so there's 4 laps on Osmer's tires.
You know what? You are right. My math is wrong. I was looking at something different.
Wondering what you were talking about.
Hey, math wasn't the greatest class, when I was loving turning wrenches in shop.
High-powered Gazintas were never my favorite either.
But, I should have paid him a little more attention in math because I'd been an engineer at that point, and that's a good field to be in.
Remind me to tell you the story of... Anyways, Keith Mayato, 32 seconds to the good currently over Rick Raven.
Rick Raven just climbing up through the S's, coming around, laying the power down, and I believe you're right. The money stop has been made, 12 laps to go.
For everybody, I'm not sure if Mayato's made his yet. Or if anything, he's probably going to need to come in for a splash and dash, but if you're coming in for a splash, you might just as well take 4.
Correct, as we just watched third place taken over by Brad Truex.
Brad Truex?
Yeah, he got around Ronnie, and they've got quite the little battle going. Ronnie's losing time to him.
Look at what happened here.
And I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to apologize for the non-replay controls on here. For some reason, they're not wanting to do what I want them to do, and I don't want to mess up a broadcast of a good race for y'all.
No, that's fine. On the road course, don't worry about replays too much. It looks like the fact Truex hasn't been pit side yet for the money stop.
I show Truex has hit the pits 3 times in this race.
How many laps is it showing on his stint?
We are on 3 laps on Truex stint.
I stand corrected then.
Yeah, he's seen the pits. He came out on fresh tires.
Osmer's off the pace then.
He is off the pace, most definitely.
You know what? He's still got wing damage.
Well, he might not have had that fast repair for his back pocket, but I'm telling you what, yeah, he the money stop, it looks like it was Losmer's race to lose, as we were talking about earlier, and it's going to be a good one. Shape up between whether Keith Mayotta can make it the rest of the way in, or Rick Ravone has the gumption to get to him.
This is where it gets good. We're inside 10 to go.
And there's a 3-second gap between first and second place.
$23 is a lifetime. Oh! Robert Dudley getting all sorts of crossed up in front of the leader there.
Yeah, he needs to be careful with the other cars coming around. We don't need to cross that up. Almost right there again.
And do need to remind everybody that Top Fuel Racing will be back this Sunday for a very, very special event of Robert Dudley. Would like to invite everybody to join us as we go to Michigan in the IR-18 for the Penny Dudley ALS Race for a Cure 250. Now, it is a buy-in race. But, unlike a lot of other buy-in races, 100% of all monies collected will go to the ALS Association.
And I do know a lot of my teammates and a lot of feel the same way I do. We cannot make that race. I know I cannot personally make it, but the link is out there. Please go ahead. Feel free to donate in the name of your team, in the name of a loved one. I'm going to make a donation even though I can't be there to run and cheer the winner on.
Find that. Let me get the topfuelracing.us. You'll find the link there on how you can make a donation. The Top Fuel Racing, all one word, TOPFUELRACING.us. You can make a donate, or click the donate button if you can't join us for the Penny Dudley ALS Race for Cure 50. You make a donation off of the Top Fuel Racing.us website. There is a direct link to. So, again, 100% of all monies collected will go to the ALS Foundation to try to find a cure for.
Well, it looks like the closest battle we've got on this track is the field is really stretched out. Is between P3 and P4, between Brad Truex and Ronnie Osmer. 5 seconds separation between the two. It's pretty much the closest to get together anyone is on the dang track, except for Michael Waller and Kevin O'Brien. They're going to be having a good one here in a second. Both cars running a 1 lap down behind Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett.
So current big mover of the race, Rick Raven, started 9th, currently running in 2nd. So good on you, sir. My auto just flat gone. Question is, can he make it on fuel? Well, going to be 8 laps to go this time across the stripe. As you know, it looks like my auto may have gone into fuel conservation mode.
Well, he's done something because he's only showing 3 laps on this stint, and he has hit the pit stops for a 3rd time. And he's still got a nice long lead on the field. So I believe it is now into Keith Mayato's hands. It's his race to lose.
Well, if he's already gone pit side, that would explain why he just lost most of that 23-second lead that he had.
Yeah, showing he's been in the pits for the 3rd time. He's on the 3rd lap of a stint, whereas Rick Raven has not hit the pits a 3rd time. He's on a 5-lap run, and Brad Truex, he's seen it pit the 3rd time, but he's been out on that track for 7 laps now. And Ronnie, he's been out for 8. So a lot of different strategies being played by the top 5.
Story as Scotty Brinson holding down the number 5 spot. I believe tonight clinched the title.
I don't know about you, but anytime I could take a top 5 at any track with the talent that I see driving around me, I am going to call myself a victor.
Absolutely. But, currently out of the race, Matt Burkhardt did not take the green. Will Kirk has retired early. Mark Robertson retired early. Tyler Vickery retired early. Chris Voiles retired early. Justin Chapman out. Jason McSparron out. Galen Gidman out. James David out.
And the big stinger of them all, Nate Skipper out.
Nate is actually in the session, and he's put the car behind the wall, but he is currently spotting for the rest of Phenomenal Motorsports.
Well, being as how I'm in the broadcast with you, I'd normally be in the Phenomenal Team channel, but so I didn't know that he was down in there.
Yes.
Taking a look back up at our leader again, Keith Mayato. He's just taking the gapping of field some more. He's up to a 13.6 second lead. I don't think anyone has anything for him for the last 6 laps of the race. 7.
Well, I think there's probably going to be a lot of unhappy drivers, as Keith currently is running the only Ford in the field. It's something that have drivers driving the only of something. It can have a lot of complaining.
Yeah, they can complain all they want, because if I'm driving that only something, that just makes the victory all the much sweeter.
Story. Paul Crumry given plenty of room going into the turn 1. Mayato, again, with control of the field, just putting on a clinic right now.
Yeah, but taking a look 13.5 seconds behind him, happens to also be the closest battle on the track at the moment. It would be Rick Rivone in second and Brad Truex in third. Just see him coming, there goes second, and you can see third coming right behind him.
Seconds is a lot of time to try to make up here at the Glen. I mean, yeah, take a look down the backstretch going into the bus stop. You Truex in the shot, but that's still a lot of ground to make up.
Especially when you have someone as talented as I've seen Rick Rivone drive this course in front of you.
Oh, absolutely. And you can tell the difference between the guys that have a lot of road course experience and the guys that don't have a lot of road course experience. Rivone, with just a ton of road course experience. I would call him a ringer, but he's not really a road course ringer as much as he's a very talented driver, period, end of sentence.
It's going to be interesting to talk to Ronnie after the race tonight when I see him later on in chat somewhere and ask him, what happened there, brother?
So, yeah, definitely going to be something to ask questions about later. But,
focusing back in on P5, Scott Brinson, as he's making laps around the track, I noticed he's also the last car on the lead lap.
Very much so, and that's the one thing about Scotty is he'll keep the car clean and run it just as hard as he. Doesn't overdrive the car. He drives it only as hard as he needs to.
Yeah, I've noticed that about him. Taking a look at all these drivers, I've noticed how smooth they are with it. Being in iRacing, on the tracker as a spectator, you can watch the front wheels. They kind of get exaggerated graphically on the turns. And you can see the guys that are in their cars just sawing on them. These guys are so smooth and so consistent around every corner.
Absolutely. And that really just goes back to the type of talent that you have here in Top Fuel Racing. And if you would like to get in on a future event, again, need to invite everybody to come out this coming Sunday for the Penny Dudley ALS Race for the Cure 250. If you do want to get in on next week's action when the goes to the rally at Michigan, house that Penske built, go ahead and drop a comment below with your iRacing screen name. We'll get that passed along to the league admins and added into some action Top Fuel Racing.
Just watching Keith Mayato turn laps around the track is a thing of beauty. He's out to a 14.2 second lead over second place Rick Ravone, who's just being just shadowed right now by Brad Truex, and I'm wondering if Brad's not saving a little something up for a charge on the last lap at the end.
I don't think he's close enough yet for that.
He seems to be, monitoring that gap and staying right there at that 3.5 second run.
Well, if you want to have something for that last lap, you're going to need to be closer than Brad Truex currently is. I'm thinking, with the season that Brad's had, and it's not saying that it's not a knock against Brad, but for the most part this past season, if it hasn't been for bad luck, Brad Truex wouldn't have any luck at all. So I'm thinking he's just hoping to get out of here with just the podium finish, call it good, and move on to next season. But definitely a great run for Truex tonight. Good to see him running up towards the front of the field. Definitely something to be mindful.
And there's a lot of respect I've noticed in this league when it comes to lap cars and the leaders coming up on them, especially towards these closing stages. That was just a lap car just saying, hey, go ahead and take this. I know we're in the S's. It's a very technical part of the course, but I'm going to stay wide and slow. Do your thing.
Absolutely. As great to see that happen again with Paul Crumry.
Yep. And happen again here in a second.
These guys, all the guys in this league, they're competitors, but they don't. Nobody in this league ever wants to be that guy, and we've all raced with that guy. Where
there's been a time in my racing where I was that guy.
Oh, we've all been there, and it's the worst feeling in the world to realize, holy crap, I just cost somebody a win.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, we see that strung all over the place. When we bring in new people into the league, we catch those attitudes, that dive bomb. Somewhere in some handbook somewhere it says you must take it 5 wide in turn 1 and be to win the race on the first lap. Trying to break guys of that.
Well, that's the thing is, as far as iRacing goes, that if you take a look at the rules for Carb Cup and Rookie Street Stocks at Charlotte, as Mayato spins it, as does Joe Morganti.
Ruh-roh, but Mayato is out in front far enough that he still has a race in hand if he doesn't have any damage on that thing to slow him down very much. Oh, he brings it around again. Yes, he does have damage on it with 2 laps to go.
Caught the rear Kardashian on Morganti's car trying to get by him. And he's got a ton of and he's got a lot of debris on those tires.
It'll take him about a half a lap to work the debris off the tires, and he's got to run it slow. But you know what? The lead is now down to 2.3 seconds. We're going to have an exciting finish here, folks.
And you can...
seconds away from Raven. I don't think he has anything for him. And here we
go.
are. White flag lap, folks. Keeping an eye on our leader, Rick Mayato, as he works a very technical part of the course where you do need some downforce and you can't roll a lot of speed without it. Second place is only 2.2 seconds behind him. Does Rick have anything for him?
Tony Rice does the right thing and lets the leaders go. Going to get the hell out of the way and let Rick Raven get by.
And a moving roadblock of Rice, yeah. That allowed our leader to get out to 2.7. If he can hold it just for the last few turns of this race, Keith Mayato is going to win one with, this probably got him changing the seat color in his car.
He definitely changed the flavor of his fire suit. More corners to navigate, says Mayato.
Got a
Still
left
holding
turn.
down the lead.
Yep, he'll have a left turn and a right turn, and he'll be looking at start-finish. Just hammered down, baby.
And it looks like Raven's going to be able to hold on for second. Yes. So Mayato, Raven, and Truex. And Osmer has gotten... No, Osmer was able to hold on for fourth. Scotty Brinson holding on for fifth, and I believe that's good enough to championship. Let me find some drivers and...
Well, there's going to be what looks to be your top 10, folks. Keith Mayato taking the win today, taking the checkers at the Glen. Rick Raven coming to the second place, a very close second place with the bubble by Mayato there when he ran up on Morganti. Brad Truex coming in third. Scott Brinson brings home fourth place, and Ronnie Osmer looks like he's going to round out top 5 for us. Finishing in P6. One lap down, that will be Sam Cooper Bennett, my friend. Michael Lawler is 7th. Kevin O'Brien in 8th. Tony Rice bringing home 9th place, and Paul Krubel taking 10th.
All right, so we're going to reach out right now to our third place finisher, and hopefully, Brad, this is going to turn the rest of your season around and give you good momentum going into next season. Congratulations on the podium, sir.
Why, thank you very much. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
We got
Can
you
you hear me? Okay, good. I was making sure I had the right button. Yeah, no, definitely I'm looking forward to it. This definitely was a momentum picker-upper for sure, if that's a word. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it. This was actually, it was just like running qualifying laps for every single lap just to even get where I was. This was a very tough race. Very good setup these guys had.
Brad, I have a question for you. On the last, say, 4 laps of the race, I was paying very good attention. It looked like you were right there behind Rick, holding a gap in there. Were you holding something in reserve? Did you have a little something for him at the end there?
No, he was. We were both running pretty equal times. I was pushing as hard as I can. I'm assuming he was too. I didn't have anything left for him. He was definitely. I was waiting for him just to make that little mistake, and he never made one. So I stuck where I was.
Well, Brad, definitely with watching you race the earlier part of the season and getting caught up in other people's dumpster fires, like I mentioned during the broadcast, for the most part this past season, if it wasn't for bad luck, you wouldn't have had any luck at all. So it was really good to see you have a good run here tonight at the Glen. Talk us through your thoughts going next week into the season finale at the house that Penske built over at...
Oh, you guys still there? Sounds like
Yeah.
you cut off. Okay, cool. Sounds like you might have dropped off there. It's definitely just gives me a good way to go into that last race of the season. I definitely love ovals. That's been one of my strong suits, so I'm just going to have to go out and do some practice laps, make sure I get everything in order, because, this whole entire field, they're pretty tough on ovals. So, but it definitely gives me a good chance to focus and just think about the last race of the season. It's been a good season so far, other than, like you said, the bad luck, but hey, got to take it when you get it.
Hey, you got the momentum changer tonight. Best of luck to you next week, Brad, and congratulations on the podium tonight.
And Brad, I just want to say one last thing. It was a privilege watching you guys race and watch how smooth you are in these cars around this track.
Yeah, these guys, they all know their stuff. They've been doing it for a while, so it's definitely a good group of guys to race with, and I appreciate the compliment.
All right. So that's going to do it for Truex. We're reaching out now to our second place finisher and the Hard Charger Award tonight, starting in 9th, finishing 2nd, Mr. Rick Raven. Rick, congratulations on the podium tonight. I know probably you were looking for a little bit higher in the pecking order, but got to be happy with the finish you had tonight, sir.
Well, I'm very happy. You know, these guys are so competitive, and you know the racing is so good. The field is so strong. You know, anytime you get a podium finish, you can feel real good about it. Obviously, I wish I was one position higher. That would have been fantastic. But you know, they just drove a fantastic race, and you know, some trouble coming through traffic at times. But you know, it's the same for everybody. Everybody was having trouble, and I'm still getting used to the guys' names. The guy was leading for a long time, and you know, he ran into some trouble, and you know, otherwise, I mean, he had it wrapped up. I forget his name. What's his name?
Ronnie Osmer.
Right, Ronnie. Ronnie was out front, and there was no touching him. And if he stayed out of trouble, he had it won. So it was fortunate that me and the guy who won the race, what's his name?
Keith Mayato.
Keith. It's fortunate that we were able to get up there and finish 1-2. And after the pit stops, when I pitted and he pitted, there was about 3 seconds between us, and I thought I may have had something for him at the end, but I made a mistake. I spun it coming off of whatever turn 10 or whatever it was, and that was the end of the day for me. But then all of a sudden Keith ran into trouble, and we were 2 seconds apart again on the last lap.
That's what I was wanting to ask you there, Rick. We were watching that. We saw him spin around. He got into the back of Joe Barganti, but you guys got close gap, and I was wondering, did you have something for him on that last little shot? Were you overdriving it? Did you get too excited? I thought you were going to bring home the win at that point.
Well, I certainly didn't think I was going to bring it home. I knew I had a good shot at it. I knew that we had a quick car. You know, these are all fixed setups, and you know, in equal cars, you always have a shot. You just got to outdrive the other guy. And, you know, being as though I was like 10 seconds back, I'm playing it conservative. There's no sense in pushing it, you know, and looping it around and losing another spot or two. So at that point, you know, I'm taking it easy. Just get to the finish. The guy's so far in front. There's no point in pushing it and, you know, making a mistake. Once I saw he was a couple seconds in front of me, I checked the relative distance, and there he was. I said, oh, it's him. And I says, well, now it's time to push a little bit. And then, of course, I got a slower car that whoever it was, I don't know if he didn't see me back there or what, took the inside line when I needed the inside line, and it kind of killed my momentum. And there was really no way I was going to catch Keith after that, and he was able to cruise the rest of the half a lap to get to the finish line. There's no saying I would have been able to. You know, catching him is one thing. Passing him, obviously, is something else. So who really knows? I'm sorry it didn't end up being a showdown on that last lap. That would have been so exciting. But still, the way it turned out, you know what? I'll take it. Second place is something to be real proud of here in Top Fuel Racing, without a doubt. Looking forward to next week.
It was a great.
Well, speaking of next week, we're going to you know, the house that Penske built over at Michigan International. You know, talk to us your thoughts about that facility.
Well, how could you not love Michigan? I mean, that is going to be a fantastic race. These guys are going to be all over that track like fireflies. I mean, I'm sure this is going to be a flat out, you know, a flat out race from the green to the checker. And I don't know if anybody's told you guys in the booth yet, but I have a big announcement.
Okay,
we're ready.
Have you guys ever heard of Sage Karam?
Yeah.
I was talking to Sage earlier today, and I convinced him to join Top Fuel Racing.
Well, this is
here comes the neighborhood.
Yep. I was going to say, be on alert, resident aliens.
And he's going to be my teammate. I can't wait.
Oh, we can't.
Well,
wait to
Scotty
watch.
Brinson just got put on notice for next season. So that's going to be a hell of a battle to see. I can't wait till Sage can join us. But Rick, congratulations on the podium tonight. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Will you be joining us Sunday?
That's up in the air. We've got a lot of stuff we have to accomplish on Sunday, and if I could get it done in time, I will be there, no doubt about it.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you then. If not, we will definitely see you next Wednesday.
Thank you. God bless you.
User was moved out of your channel.
And speaking of resident aliens, becoming our 12th different winner in 12 different races, or 12 straight races, our 12th different winner, getting his first win in Top Fuel. Congratulations, Keith Mayato.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Keith, I have one question I need to ask you. with about a lap and a half to go when you caught the tail end of Morganti and got spun around. What was going through your mind?
I hope I have a big enough lead to make up for that. It was almost like the beginning of the race when I got, involved in 2 little incidents, and I saw him sideways, and I'm like, oh, shit. I knew as soon as I, apply the brakes a little harder, tail end's coming around, and of course it did. And then I overshot it going to the next turn because, I'm out of the zone. I'm not hitting my marks anymore, and I was like, oh crap. I'm like, I see like 3 seconds. I'm like, I think I can hold on, and luckily the tires got up to temp again, and it could go.
Well, it was a joy to watch it. It was a joy to call it, and I have to say, it would have been probably a barn burner right at the start-finish line. Someone needs to go track down old Tony Rice and hand him that $10 bill under the table for blocking up coming around in the boot.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because he told me to pass on the left, and I'm like, man, he's carrying a lot of speed going in, and I'm like, I guess I'm just going to toss it in there, and hopefully I don't hit the bumps and fly off the track like I was doing. I was attacking that turn all night. I knew that's what I was making up most of my time, but I was a little nervous on that pass.
Yeah, it was great to watch you run that. It was great to see the strategy that you were running play out. It was a little different than anyone else's that I saw, and I just want to tell you it was a beautiful thing to watch you guys smoothly take these cars around this track.
Yeah, no, my strategy was a forced strategy because I got into Tyler, I think, like 3rd lap. So I had left front wing damage, and then I got into, I think it was Paul, and then I got right front wing damage. I'm like, I got to pit. I'm like, I can't even drive this car anymore. So that's what forced me, and I didn't think I was going to win this race. I just drove as hard as I can without wrecking it.
Well, it doesn't make it feel any better because if I remember right, Tony was telling me something about the only Ford driver in the field.
Absolutely.
With the Chevy paint scheme.
Okay, I need to update my trading paints then, because I still got you in the Ford paint scheme. But no, definitely, Keith. It was fun to watch you make your way through the field. The series moves next week to Michigan International. I know you've had some pretty good success there in the stock cars. Talk to us your thoughts about going there with the open wheelers.
Well, I haven't practiced it, so it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm assuming you can go wide open around there. I'm going to assume. I don't know if the rubber's up, it changes a little bit. I think air push will probably have a big effect on what's going to happen over there.
Well, any chance you're going to be joining us on Sunday for the Penny Dudley Race for a Cure 250?
I'm going to try my best. It's hard for me to make Sunday races. I put it down as a maybe, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to make it there.
To your channel.
All right. It was definitely fun to watch you run tonight. Congratulations on becoming the 12th different winner in 12 straight races here in Top Fuel, and getting your first win here with Top Fuel Racing. Looking forward to seeing you next week, and best of luck in the rest of the next season as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, it was a blast tonight. It was a fun race. It was a little interesting, but it was a fun race.
That was Keith's second win, by the way. He won the 500, too.
Oh, that's right. I do apologize. So, not the 12th straight winner, or 12th different winner.
No, that streak came to an end. He broke it.
Okay, I stand corrected, ladies and gentlemen, and I apologize. But joining us now is Keith. Again, congratulations. We're looking forward to seeing you next week.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
User was moved out.
And joining us now, Scotty Brinson. How's it feel to have clinched a championship with one race left in the books?
Actually, we got two. We got Michigan, and then we got Phoenix. But
okay, 2 races left in the books, and you just clinched the championship tonight with a 5th place finish.
Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it. I've been bitching for the last 5 or 10 minutes in the TeamSpeak channel there to my teammates that I let this one get away because when I'm in my first pit stop, I think my auto was double-digit seconds behind me or pretty close to it, and I got caught for crossing that yellow line coming out of pit road, and it was because I carried too much speed down there, and then there was a car coming around the corner, and it just kind of set me off for a second, and I crossed the line, and it just snowballed from there. So I hadn't even really thought about the championship. I just feel like I could have had a much better finish tonight, and unfortunately, I finished 49 seconds behind the leader in fifth.
User joined your channel.
Well, you may have lost the battle, but you won the war, sir.
That's true. That's true. I just hadn't thought about it till you just said something.
And I was going to bring up the point that that's a pretty good place to be in when you're upset about the position you are in a race, but you're still going to clinch the championship.
Yeah, I hear you guys, and probably here in a few minutes I'll get past it and I'll see the bigger picture. But I'm just a competitor, and when you're out there racing as hard as you got to race to keep up with these guys, and you start making mistakes when you know that had you not made the mistake, you'd been in a much better position. It's just it gets to you sometimes. It's just a competitor in me.
You know, Scott, I noticed some things in your league. I noticed a lot of respect given to drivers in this league. A lot of the lap cars, you know, just flat move out of the way. Say, hey, take it. I'm going to go wide. It's a technical part of the course. I know we're in the S's, but I'll be over here. You go on. I saw a lot of that respect given in your league.
Yeah, for the most part, over time, we've kind of filtered out the people here that couldn't do that, and the people that were the constant caution bearers. Those people aren't here no more. And the
great thing to see guys racing as hard as they did, as competitive as they did, and I enjoyed being here to watch this race.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Byron, and I heard that you're going to be here with Tony on a weekly basis, and we welcome you here to the league and hope you enjoy Top Fuel Racing. We try to always make it competitive and fun out there. As you heard Tony mention, coming in tonight, we'd had 11 different winners in the last 11 races.
That's been invited to race with you guys, and like I said, I don't have much open wheel experience, so I'm not going to get out there and ruin someone else's race until I was able to be up to speed and competitive. But I'm going to be happy calling these races, and I hope Tony doesn't smack me around up here in the booth too dang much for missing a button here or missing a button there. But it's first time out for me. I give it my best. We lost the audio feed on iRacing, but other than that, hey, it's been a fun experience.
Well, congratulations on your first race in the books tonight, and don't worry about this, man. It's just part of broadcasting, and you just put it in the rear view and move on.
Yep.
Forward immensely to this event. The Penny Dudley ALS Race for a Cure 250, live from the house that Penske built at Michigan International in the IR-18s. And Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a buy-in race, but all the monies collected will be donated to the ALS Foundation.
Yes, sir. And I just got 2 more entries actually after the race was over. I saw that 2 more people sent me money, and we're up to $325 out of 8 entries. So we're well on our way to that $500 goal, and I think we're going to get way past it. I'm hoping we get at least 20 cars for Sunday, but we got 8 right now that have donated.
Now, even if you can't make it to the event as a competitor, if you do want to make a donation, you can make a donation off of topfuelracing.us. There is a direct link to make a donation to the ALS Foundation right off of the Top Fuel Racing webpage.
Sure is. So anybody out there that just wants to make a donation to it, just send me a little note in there what it's for, and I'll make sure that that goes along with all the other money to Robert Dudley, and he's going to make the donation in his sister's name and also mention Top Fuel Racing, which I just thought I would do it in his sister's name. But anyway, all the money is going to go to that. So like I said, we're hoping to get at least $500, and I think we're going to get there.
Now, speaking of Robert Dudley, joining us now is Robert, is basically the mind behind what we're going to be seeing on Sunday. You know, Robert, again, I just found out why things are going on, but you know, the race in your sister's memory, you know, anything you want to add to what we've been talking about tonight?
No, you about covered. I just want to thank Scott and Top Fuel Racing for putting this on for my sister, and also for the ALS. Puts awareness out there. I'd like to thank you guys for go ahead and broadcast it, and I'm broadcasting all our races for Top Fuel. And I think it's really special, and it warms my family's heart. And people here at the ALS chapter of Alabama are really appreciative, and they're looking forward to it.
You know, I've said this before in other broadcasts, but you know, anytime that there's a charitable organization that needs help, it warms my heart the fact that iRacers and esports participants really come together and do everything they can to try to help a charitable organization. And in this case, the ALS Foundation.
Yeah, like I said, I really appreciate Scott putting this on and working with me with it. Like I said, you guys, and I'd like to give a shout out to Paul Zoda for making the banner for the race. I'd like to thank the people that's going to participate, and I hope we get a lot more, and I hope we put out a good show for the people that are out there, ALS, people that's watching it.
All right. I believe that's going to about do it for us tonight. Byron, if you want to help me give a rundown here of the final finishing order.
Yeah, I'd love to, but it seems that things just wanted ahead. Remember the problem we had where it just quit on its own? It did it again. But I do have the finishing order. We have finishing first place tonight, taking home the win, Keep My Auto, in a bit of a thriller there towards the end. Rick Rivone in second place. Brad Truex coming home third. Our resident alien from the league that I run in, Ronnie Osmer, he brings in fourth place. And Scott Brinson rounds out the top five, your championship winner.
Sam Cooper Bennett, hell of a run tonight, sir. Coming home in sixth. Mike Lawler coming home in seventh. Kevin O'Brien holding on for eighth. Tony Rice holding on for ninth. 10th place going to Paul Crumry. Joe Morganti with a hard-fought 11th place finish. Robert Dudley coming home in 12th. 13th going to Doug Kennedy. Justin Chapman coming home in 14th. 15th going to Chris Voiles. Will Kirk in 16th. 17th going to James McDavid. 17th going to...
Jason McSparron.
Sorry, 17th going to James McDavid.
18th to Jason McSparron.
And Tyler Vickery and Nate Siefker rounding out those who did actually take the green.
User disconnected from your channel.
It was a great race to be. It was fun to be up here with you in the booth, Tony. I look for things to get a lot better in the future as we line out some of the kinks on this thing. And I do see the addition of a third screen coming my way soon.
Fair enough. But, on behalf of the entire Top Fuel racing family, do need to point out to everybody, again, Byron's first race with us running cameras. We will get smoother from here. There was a couple issues that took place, so we were a little late getting going tonight, but, definitely good job on cams tonight, sir. Tonight's overlay brought to you by PZ Overlays, Paul Zoda, for all your overlay needs. You can find him on his Facebook page. And again, thank you to Scotty Brinson and all Top Fuel Racing for letting us bring you the action tonight. We'll see you back here Sunday night from Michigan in the IR-18 for the Penny Dudley ALS Race for a Cure 250.
I will do my best to be there. Tony, it was fun broadcasting with you. We'll see you next week.